Today we're working with equations in y equals mx form. So we will see, we'll end up replacing the m with some number, but we'll write it as y equals some number x. M, we talked about being the slope, so we'll replace it with the slope. All right, so slide 2, talked about the amount of money David can raise for the Wish Upon a Rainbow Bike-a-thon is shown on the table. For 2 hours of biking time, he can raise $20. So if we find our constant rate of change, or our slope, rises 20 for every 2 hours, 20 over 2 is 10, and these all simplify to 10. We know that the slope, or the constant rate of change, or the constant ratio, all those are the same word, different, or same meaning, different words. We know that the constant rate of change would be 10. So it talks a little bit about that down here. Again, calling it some extra new words. It says, recall that when the ratio of two variable quantities is constant, in this case it's 10, a proportional relationship exists. So this would be through the origin and a straight line. This relationship is called a direct variation. So we'll call a proportional relationship a direct variation. The constant ratio is called the constant of variation or the constant of proportionality. So you can put both, for both of these vocab words, you can just write a constant ratio, which is the slope. Different words, all meaning the same thing. So to find what we call a direct variation, something that's proportional, so line through the origin and a straight line, you can use tables, graphs, words, or equations to represent and compare them. So this one, they gave us some information. They gave us that information also in a, oh, just kidding. I thought it was maybe an ordered pair, but, or a graph. And actually, I think this is the same data. But so we would go y over x. Y varies directly with x, so y over x. And this is 3 over 15, 4 over 20, 5 over 25, 6 over 30, which would always simplify to 1/5, which is where they're getting that. So 3/15, 4/20, 5/25, or you can do the constant rate of change like this. Because it's a direct variation, both of these will always be the same. So that's kind of nice today. So the graph also would do that. Remember we draw a nice little triangle. So it rises 1 and runs 5. So our slope, or our direct variation, is 1/5. Or you can find a nice ordered pair and divide them. So it says when the x value changes by an amount, the y value will change with the corresponding m times a. This also has the equation form. There's our 1/5, which we got from those over there. We'll see that y equals mx coming up. How do we know if something is a direct variation? So they're asking us to find a direct variation. It has to be proportional. In order to be proportional, it goes through the origin and is a straight line. So it has both of those constant ratios, and the constant rate of change are the same. So the CROC and the CR, the outside and inside ratios must be the same. It says put a star on the graphs that are proportional, straight line through the origin, straight line, not through the origin, so no good. Through the origin, straight line, perfect. Bad, because it's not, it needs to go through the origin. Okay, so a couple practice problems here. It says Damon's earnings for 4 weeks from a part-time job are shown in the table. Assume that his earnings vary directly with the number of hours worked. So it's telling us that his earnings vary directly with the hours. So we're going to put earnings, or dollars, over hours. So we should just, because they vary directly, we can just divide the numbers, making sure we set it up right. $112.50 divided by 15 hours. That ends up being $7.50 per hour. It says he can take a job that will pay him $7.35 per hour. Which job has the better pay? His current job. It says explain. Well, that would be because $7.50 is greater than $7.35. So here they're telling us that it's proportional, so we can just divide those numbers. So let's check this next one out. A color printer can print 36 pages in 3 minutes and 108 pages in 9 minutes. So they're giving us 2 sets of data here that we could use either one. If the number of pages varies directly with the time, so I'm going to write that pages over time, And it's telling us varies directly. So this is a straight line through the origin. We can use either one of these numbers. At what rate is the color printing? So I'm going to use 36 and 3, which simplifies to 12 pages per hour. So it's just asking per minute, not hour. It's just asking for its rate, which is the direct variation, the slope, all those same things. We could have used 108 and 9, but because it is a direct variation or varies directly, you can pick either one. We're going to start writing equations here. So a 3-year-old dog is often considered to be 21 in human years. Assume that the equivalent age in human years, which is y, varies directly with x. Its age is a dog. So I'm going to say human over dog. So its human years are 21. And it's over 3 years, as the example it gave us, which is 7 human years per 1 dog year. It says write and solve a direct variation equation. This is our m. So in our equation, y equals mx, we're going to replace our m with the 7. There's our equation. Now it says to find the dog that is 6 years, the human years of a dog that is 6 years old. So the x stood for dog years, so we just replace our x with 6, and we get 42 years old. That'd be human years. Okay, we got to switch some of this around in number 5. This 1200 we need to change to 585, and we need to swap these two. So in Fortnite Marketplace, it costs $10 to purchase 225 V-Bucks. Assume the total cost, but we're going to change that. Assume the total V-Bucks is directly proportional to the cost, which is our x. So we're going to do V-Bucks over cost. Just a typo in there. And then it says write and solve in a direct variation equation to find out how much it would cost to buy 585 bucks. So this is our y over x. So the V-Bucks are 225 divided by the $10. That will give me 22.5 V-Bucks per $1. So for $1 I can get 225 V-Bucks. So our direct variation equation in y equals mx form, I'm going to set it over here, y equals 22.5x. There's our equation. Now it says to find out how much it would cost to buy 585 bucks, V-Bucks. So is that an x or a y? Do I plug that in here or here? Y are the V-Bucks. So we actually plug this in for y. So 585 equals 22.5 times x divided by 22.5. I think we get like 26 or something. So it would cost us $26 for 585 V-Bucks. Tricky. These next ones are going to be the same thing but without words. So it's telling us to write each of these problems in a direct variation equation, and I wrote out some steps here for that. So the first thing we're going to do is find the unit rate with the first x and y. So remember, it's y over x. Then we're going to put it into y equals mx form, where we replace the m. Plug and chug for the final value. So in this first letter E, we're going to do y over x with our first value, which is negative 12 over 9. We can simplify that to take out a 3, negative 4/3. There's our m. So our new equation in y equals mx is going to be y equals negative 4/3 x. Box that. Now it says, now find y when x is 4. So now we're going to plug 4 in for this x. So negative 4 times 4, negative 16 over 3, and we could leave it like that, or it's negative 3 1/3. Negative 5 1/3. So I will take improper fractions or mixed numbers. Letter F, first rewrite it as y over x. So that would be negative 6 over negative 14, which is a positive, negative divided by negative. We can simplify that to take a 2 out, 3 over 7. So the equation is y equals 3/7 x. But now it says find x when y is -4. So we plug in -4 for y and bring the rest down. To get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal, which is 7/3. So 7 times -4 is -28/3, and that's what our x is. You could also simplify that into a mixed number as well. Last but not least, a word problem that's going to ask us to do the same thing. So the charter bus travels 210 miles in 3.5 hours. Assume the distance traveled, so distance, which is miles in this case, is directly proportional to the time, which happens to be hours. Write and solve a direct variation equation to find how far the bus will travel in 6 hours. So this is our y over x. So miles is 210 divided by 3.5. I'm going to change it to 3.5 and just hope that it doesn't give me an ugly number. Let's double check here. 60. That's nice. So we get 60 mph, or miles per hour. So we found m. Write an equation in y equals mx. So our equation with y equals 60x. Now it says plug and chug. How far it will go in 6 hours? Well, hours goes with the x, so we plug 6 in for x. 6 times 6 is 36. Add the 0. 360 miles. Great. All right. So it's whatever day of the week it is. Don't forget to be awesome. Have a great day.